So I think they already finished these 2 units, okay? And they learned how they are assessed, or the assessment, how it was. And international A level, it's unit 3 and unit 4 add to that unit 5, okay? تمام. In unit 5, it's practical skills, which need to revise the whole information from 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 for the whole units, right? Plus some practical skills that we have been discussed, like quality of drawing. Already you had an idea from IGCSE level how to plot a graph, some calculation questions, and of course, statistic questions will be involved as well, okay? Some planning of investigation, and this is nice part where in Oxford they give us a practical core which is needed from each unit, and I just will give you the booklet of practical, have this experiment, we will explain it and we'll learn how to write it, and that's it. Any planning will come within these practical experiments. They are from 10 to 12 experiments only, okay? This how each unit will be assessed, right? I will go to unit 3 directly because here this is orientation for A2. Exam is 1 hour 30 minutes, 75 marks. This is the raw mark, which carry 20% of the international A level, because we have 5 units. The unified mark will be 100, so each one carries 25% of the total mark. The same for unit 4, the same for unit 5, okay? Here the question 60 mark short, 15 marks for structured questions requiring continuous prose. Same for unit 4, but here we have critical analysis and data. For paper 5 or unit 5, 55 marks short answered based on the practical, which is related to the specification. As I told you, we'll take the specification of the practical from each unit and we will learn it. Then most of the marks, or 55 marks, will come related to that. 20 marks related to the answers or continuous prose as well. تمام. To be ready for unit 5, I have to revise the information, as I said, from unit 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, right? Which will not be hard. Already we supposed to be familiar with the whole unit after finishing the A level, plus the practical skills, plus memorizing of the practical core or the specification of the practical for each unit. This, as I said, this is the raw mark. Each unit is 75 marks. The percentage which carry 20%, and the uniform mark, it will be 100, so the total will be 500. 200 for AS, unit 1 and unit 2, 300 for unit 1, 3 and 4 and 5. To get A, you must to get 80 over 100. To get A star, you have to get A in the all 5 units. And also you must exceed 270 by 300 from the 3 unit 4 and 3 and 5. Okay? Type. To achieve high score in the Oxford paper, actually it's easy, but still we have to study and solve past paper. First of all, the content of the 5 units, actually it's easier than Edexcel and Cambridge. I believe in that because many topics repeated from the IGCSE level, so not so far. We are not so far from the information that we have before. Only we will add up little details which will be so helpful. Actually, also the units are short, not so long. Unit 1 and 2, 3, 4, they are short units, not so long. We can finish within short time, and we have more time for practicing and solving past paper. Okay. The new syllabus of Oxford started from 2018. So we have 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 now. There are like 2 sessions. I think there was no exams. It was only evaluation due to the COVID-19. Okay, so we have also exam pro, which aside supported by Oxford to give classified questions for the topic. Okay. Also, after finishing all of these questions, we will solve more questions from other boards, but have the same pattern of the Oxford questions. The most important thing in AQA or in their answers, we have to be sticky to the scientific or the biologist's languages. I have to be sticky for the specification of the content of the syllabus. Better to use the same wording, same expression, because it makes getting mark easy, getting the marks of the questions easy. Okay, so we have to learn the information or the content by heart. We will solve classified questions, many classified questions for each topic, classified questions from the old paper of Oxford. We have classified questions start from 2010 even. If it related to our topic, we will go to these questions as well. Okay. After finishing the recent year for AQA papers, I can pick up some questions from other boards with the same pattern or idea of Oxford. We can do more practicing in it. تمام. For each topic, I said I will supply you the notes, material, and the classified questions. After each topic, we will finish together. There will be assessment and office hours. Weekly, we will have one more class for assessment or office hours or workshop, whatever you need, we will do. Okay. But one thing the student have to do, uh, Oxford, yeah, the contents are easier than other boards, maybe shorter, but you still need to study. Don't go to the Oxford, yeah, it's easy, so I will use it, so I will not study. No way. If you want to get a star, we have to study. We have to work together to achieve our goals, right? Nothing will come if I did not do my part, if I did not study properly, follow the plan which I will give to you. Okay, solve the questions as much as you can. There is also a very important part here, which is carries a lot of mark in the papers, which calculation questions. Mathematical calculation uh, carry around 10% of the paper. A lot of calculation questions are there. So math is a math. So we have to do more practicing, more calculation. So I will give separate worksheets and separate questions only for mathematical calculations from Oxford, from other boards. As much as we can, we will try to solve math questions so we will overcome this point, because most of the students who are taking biology maybe not taking math. So this is like a challenge for them to overcome. I will supply, I will give you after each unit many calculation questions, okay, to practicing on it to cover most of the questions which may come related to our syllabus. يعني easiest units that found in the syllabus of A2 related to Cambridge Udexel. It's very easy unit. Okay. The only part which considered to be totally new is the one which is related to the biochemistry, which is biochemistry for respiration and photosynthesis. Okay, even the name of the unit, it's called population and genes. Okay, there is a part which is handling the population ecology, you can say, okay, and succession. Okay, this is like an easy part. I will come back to it when I finish the biochemistry parts of the syllabus. And I would like to finish respiration and photosynthesis first, okay, because they need more memorizing, totally new idea about biochemistry and biology, okay, and they are, yani, for me, they are very interesting parts of the unit, okay, and their questions pretty easy if they will come, because if I understood the concepts of the reactions or the changes which happen to the glucose to be carbon dioxide and water, or the opposite for the carbon dioxide and water to be glucose. all يعني most of their questions the student getting high marks, and it's rare to lose mark of the understood these parts and memorize it properly, right? Last part also, which is one of the favorite parts, related to the ecosystem and nutrient cycle and the energy flow. This part also almost we had some of it or most of it actually in the IGCSE. With more details we will learn them this year, but not that much يعني as expected. So it will be يعني easy part, which will be also fast to be finished. Then we will go to the alleles and inheritance, and we will learn some statistical tests and Hardy-Weinberg principles, which is also few calculation we have to learn, and it's very repetitive, by the way. And there is no that such challenging questions in this part as well. You got my point? Then again, we will go to the selection as we had in the variation in IGCSE level or GCSE, International GCSE. Okay. Then we will learn something about speciation, which is a nice part also. Yani this unit, it correlates the biology uh, inside the living things with the environment. Is it clear? What is the sequence of the topic that we will give? First, I would like to give respiration and photosynthesis, as I said, to understand clearly what are the change of energy, whatever building up molecules like photosynthesis, or convert the chemical energy of glucose into the form of ATP, which our energy currency, right? Then I will go to the part of population and ecosystem, and I will end that unit by the inheritance and the speciation and selection. Is it clear? Okay. Type. Then I will start today with the topic of respiration. تمام? We are supposed to be familiar with that word, right? And here I will specify my word to be cellular respiration. Okay, because there is another general term of respiration. It includes the exchange of gases plus the release of energy from the cells. But we will discuss, or our concern here is the cellular respiration. Okay, do you have an idea what is the meaning of cellular respiration? Hmm? I would like you to answer from your previous knowledge that we had in the IGCSE, and feel free, it's fine. Huh. Noor, you know what is cellular respiration? Noor? Hmm?
When like the cell respires.
Noor, give me 1 second. Noor, could you say your answer again? Could you repeat it again? Hello? Noor, do
I
you hear
said,
me? Yes, yeah, I can hear you now.
I said
Hmm.
when cells respire, like they
Yeah,
get in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide.
yes, you said when we can say cellular respiration. This is what Noor said. When the cell use oxygen, okay, and release energy, okay, Noor, and also will release carbon dioxide. But only oxygen is enough to release that energy and carbon dioxide. Okay, Mariam?
Glucose is also used.
Yeah, we need
It
glucose.
also produces water.
Yes, glucose as well. So glucose and oxygen, both of them, we are required to do that cellular respiration. Okay? Type. One more question. I would like to confirm that is the oxygen is a must to release energy from glucose? Yes or no? Ryan, is oxygen is a must to release energy from glucose? Yes or no?
No.
Yes, agree with you. The others agree also as well or not? Yes, you send me in the chat. It's fine. Okay, so also Renat said no. Okay, so then respiration or that cellular respiration, okay, it is a process by which we can release energy from the food, right? And with oxygen or without oxygen. So I can, okay, let me كده. So cell respiration, it's a chemical process, okay, that releases okay, energy from the food, okay? And it could be divided into two types, okay, which could be in the presence of oxygen, okay, and this called huh, aerobic respiration, right? Okay, or could be or happen, okay, without oxygen, and this case it will be called anaerobic, okay, respiration. Is it clear for all of you? Okay, I will not go to the details, the differences between aerobic and anaerobic, because we will handle it in later in that part of the syllabus. Okay, yes, Mariam, correct. But I would like to ask two other simple questions. Okay, aerobic respiration takes place where, and anaerobic respiration takes place where? Still remember, I would like to remind you, I'm talking about cellular respiration, يعني the respiration or the release of energy inside living cells. So aerobic respiration takes place where? Safe or Renad? Safe don't have mic. Noor, Mariam, Abdurrahman. You remember it or not? Type anaerobic respiration. طب let me remind you. Somewhere, yes, mitochondria, Renat said. Okay, so aerobic respiration takes place in the mitochondria. It's totally correct. Mitochondria. Okay, but anaerobic respiration takes place in the cytoplasm. Today, I will go to the details of the aerobic respiration and I will keep or postpone anaerobic respiration later. Okay, so here let's go to the aerobic respiration. Okay, anyone, if you remember the equation of the respiration, aerobic respiration, when we were saying like C6, H12, O6 plus 6 molecule or moles of oxygen will be totally huh, oxidized to give carbon dioxide and water. تمام? So I would like to tell you the aerobic respiration based on oxidation reaction. Based on oxidation reaction or oxidation and reduction, because without oxidation no reduction, without reduction no oxidation, and this type of reaction called redox. You remember these reactions or not? You know what's oxidation mean, what's reduction mean? Hmm? Oxidation in chemistry means loss of electrons. This is the recent يعني concept of oxidation reduction in the term of electrons. Oxidation is the loss of electrons, reduction is the gain of electrons, right? There are different definitions for oxidation and reduction. I here usually in organic or biochemistry, we would like to define it by the concept of hydrogen, gain or loss of hydrogen. So if I would like to define oxidation, okay, with another point of view based on gaining or loss of hydrogen, oxidation mean, okay, loss of hydrogen, okay, a reduction, it's gain of hydrogen. There is another concept also, I think you will supposed to be familiar with it. When we say oxidation, it is gain of oxygen or reduction, loss of oxygen. You know that or not? Hmm?
Yes.
Okay. Huh? Malak, Noor, Rinad, Mariam, is it fine? Ryan?
Yes.
Okay. طيب. So aerobic respiration يعني simply كده the major amount of energy will be released from the oxygen by chemical reaction, okay, which is based on redox or reduction and oxidation, and we will learn how later, okay. طيب, second point I said now that aerobic respiration takes place in the mitochondria, but anaerobic respiration takes place in the cytoplasm. Okay, also before going to the process of respiration, okay, Let me revise with you quickly the structure of mitochondria. Okay, as we had it under electron microscope in the AS level or unit 1. Okay, I'll write here mitochondria. Anyone, if you remember the structure of mitochondria under electron microscope used by seen by TMS? Anyone, if you remember it? If you remember it, you can help me. Mitochondria, it is single or double membranous organelle? Huh?
Double membrane.
What?
Double membrane.
Excellent, Mariam. It's double membranous organelle, right? So I will write the outer membrane. Usually it has like rod shape, oval shape in that way. This is the outer membrane, okay, of the mitochondria, and it's called outer membrane. Okay, and there is second membrane, but that second membrane, okay, it's folded to give like inner folds, looks like shells inside the cells, and this inner membrane forms this folding which is called crystia. Okay, so this is the inner membrane which has folds called crystia. The media inside the mitochondria called matrix. What do you mean by media? Media, like inside the cell, there is cytoplasm at which reactions going on, anaerobic respiration takes place, protein synthesis takes place, exactly the same. But inside the mitochondria, we will not call it cytoplasm, we call it matrix. Inside that matrix, there is circular DNA molecule, and there are also ribosomes from type 70S and 30S as we had before. Is it clear? Okay. In that such organelle, aerobic respiration will take place. Okay. Parts of the aerobic respiration will take place in the matrix. Parts of that reaction will take place on the membrane of the crystia. You got my point? Okay. And in the part of glycolysis, sorry, in the part of respiration, you have to know pretty well at which part of the cell or at which part of the mitochondria that reaction takes place. Okay, you got my point? Okay, this is the mitochondria. If you would like to see the 3D shape image, or this is simple diagram for the mitochondria. Okay, is it clear? You have any doubt about that part? Okay, now let's go to start the process of respiration. Okay, up to now you are okay? You are familiar with these terms and things or not? If you are not familiar with any of this, just tell me, I can repeat it again. It's fine. Say yes or no. Huh? Is it fine? Noor, Mariam, Ryan, Rinad, Saif, Abdurrahman?
Yes.
Okay. Type. If I will go back to the respiration, right? Now, after eating our food, okay, Rinad, after eating our food, it will be digested, especially carbohydrate. I'm talking about carbohydrate now. It will be digested into glucose, and that glucose will be absorbed by our blood and will be transported to the body cells. Clear? Okay. So our cells will absorb or will take that glucose from the blood, right? By facilitative diffusion, active transport, regardless what is the method of the uptake, that glucose will enter the cells. So now, okay, the glucose is here, right? Okay, and this is the cell surface membrane of the cell, okay, and this is the cytoplasm. The glucose will enter the cell. So now the glucose is found where? The cytoplasm. How the reaction will start? How that glucose from being complex structure C2, C6H12O6 will be converted into simple molecule which is carbon dioxide. يعني C6, sorry, okay, C6H12O6, okay, right? Will be converted into very simple form of carbon, which is carbon dioxide, a gas. How that reaction will start? First of all, I would like to ask you, all of the energy which found in the glucose molecule trapped in the CH bond. And the potential energy found between the carbon when it bonded with the hydrogen. This is the bond which has the potentiality of the chemical energy inside that molecule. Okay? And I will remind you one more time with that word when we end up with the whole biochemical scheme of this process. Okay? How all of the bond between the carbon and hydrogen will be broken, and the carbon will be oxidized into carbon dioxide, and the hydrogen will be oxidized in water. This is the the simplest overview of the respiration of glucose. Agree with me or not? Okay? Glucose now found in the cytoplasm. Okay, right? I would like to ask you,
Yes.
the glucose as a chemical structure, it's stable or reactive? يعني easily to react with other things, or kind of stable, or in other words, it needs activation energy. What do you believe? It's reactive or kind of stable compound which will not react without activation energy? What do you believe? Huh. Feel free, whatever you think, say it, share with us. Okay? Huh, Renad, I would like to hear and see from you what do you believe? It's fine. Renat said yes, yes. Stop. Yes, Renat, what do you mean? It means it's reactive or stable. Can react easily. Once it will enter the cytoplasm, it will start to react, or it needs activation energy. Mariam said stable. Ryan
Stable.
said yes. Yes, yeah, Ryan. Yani, which one? You believe which one? Reactive. Okay. Ryan. Sorry, Mariam said stable. Ryan said reactive. Once it will enter the cytoplasm, it will react. Who about the others? What do you think? Huh? Your opinion will be with Ryan or with Mariam? Rinat said it needs activation energy, and your opinion goes with Mariam, right? Okay. Right. Actually, I also agree with Mariam and Rinat. Okay. And also stable. Abdurrahman still also. Yeah. I just will give you simple example. We can use that glucose and add it to some of our food and cook it and heat it up, and it will not react, will not give yani, uh, like reactions which we it can change the taste or anything. No. So glucose, it's a stable chemical structure. Once it will enter the cytoplasm, it needs activation energy. Needs what? Activation energy. Okay. Type. In the chemistry we learn it. If I would like to give activation energy, I would heat the reactant. Agree with me or not? Hmm? Or I can yani, supply electrical current. Agree with me? This is the activation that we used to do in vitro or in labs. But how can the cell gives activation energy to glucose? Do you know or do you hear about ATP? Huh? Do you know or do you hear about ATP? If you know it, raise your hand. If it not, it's fine. No one know it. No one knows what is ATP. Mariam knows it. Okay, no problem. I will tell you what is the ATP. ATP stands for triadenosine phosphate. Adenosine triphosphate. Okay, so it stands for adenosine triphosphate. Okay, this ATP is the energy currency inside the living cells. Okay, ATP is the energy currency inside the living cell. What does it mean? Means if the cell, okay, has reactions which yield energy or give out energy, this energy will be given out in the form of ATP. Another reaction, another cell require energy, that energy will be given to this cell in the form of ATP. In other words, if any reaction or any step in our body or our cells, active transport, senses, anything, energy only supplied by ATP. That's why when we eat carbohydrate and digest it into glucose, that glucose will not be used by the cell. It's supposed to be respired first and converted into ATP to be in a useful form of energy that our cells can use it. Okay? If there is problem in the mitochondria and the glucose will not be converted into ATP, that organism will die. I don't know if you hear about toxic gas, the gas war, you know it, right? Only that gas destroy something inside the mitochondria. Mitochondria will not work. That's why people are dying within minutes, because if there is no respiration, no ATP, no reactions inside the cells, no activity, the whole entire body will die. You understand? That's why the ATP, it's called, it is the energy currency in all living things. I'm not talking only about human or plants or animal. It is energy currency in all living cells. Agree with me or not? Hmm? Okay. Do you hear me?
Yes, doctor.
Okay. Done. So ATP is energy currency. And what is the meaning of that? It means it is our cells trading using the ATP. Is it clear for all of you? تمام؟ طيب. So if I would like to ask you a question now, if our cells need energy for a particular reaction, like activation of glucose molecule, I think this energy will be given in the form of ATP. Agree with me or not? Okay? Okay, Ryan? Abdurrahman? Hmm?
Okay.
So now we have agreement now. Glucose is a stable molecule. It needs activation energy, right? To give activation energy to that glucose molecule, we will need the energy currency inside the cell, because this reaction requires energy, and all the energy will be supplied or be given in the form of ATP. Okay? Okay, wait, Rinad, I just will... So ATP will be used to activate the glucose molecule by hydrolysis. ATP will be hydrolyzed into ADP, which is adenosine diphosphate. Okay, that glucose will be converted into glucose phosphate. It will gain one phosphate molecule from the ATP, and it will be converted into glucose phosphate. Okay, one more ATP molecule will be required for more activation of the glucose. Okay, so here one more ATP will be converted into ADP. Okay, make more phosphorylation for the phosphate, which will be converted into fructose by phosphate. Okay, glucose and fructose, as we had in AS level, are isomers to each other. They have the same number of carbon, 6 carbon molecule bonded to 2 phosphate group. Here is one phosphate, here is one phosphate. Okay, so here in this part, there is activation of the glucose molecule and there is isomerization. There is enzyme also called isomerase enzyme, which will break down or change the glucose into fructose. Okay, so this is the activation of the glucose molecule. Okay, so at the beginning of the respiration, the cells have to give some energy for that reaction to start. Exactly, if I want to burn fuels, the fuel, mix fuel with oxygen as much as you can, they will never start to react and make fire without ignition. This ignition or lighter is the activation energy which we will give for that reaction to start. So at the beginning of the reaction, okay, the glucose will need activation energy, okay, using ATP. We will use 2 ATP molecules to convert the glucose into fructose biphosphate. You understand? Is it clear? Okay. So exactly this what happened in that reaction. Okay, here there was the glucose, right? And we give that activation energy for that glucose to react by giving 2 ATP which will be hydrolyzed to give 2 ADP, which is hydrolysis of ATP, which releases energy inside the living cells. Is it clear? You have any doubt about that part? Okay. Is it okay for all of you? تمام؟ ها مريم، نور، ريان، ملك، سيف، عبد الرحمن.
Doctor.
تمام.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So after the glucose now found in cytoplasm, activation of glucose happen by hydrolysis of 2 ATP. By the way, each ATP, I would like to tell you, each ATP molecule, if it will be hydrolyzed, sorry, each ATP molecule, if it will be hydrolyzed, it gives ADP plus phosphate, which is give 30.5 kilojoule per mole. So this amount of energy is released and gained by the glucose because it's bonded to the phosphate, which is released from that hydrolysis. That's why fructose biphosphate is ready now to react. Okay. The next step here, okay, for fructose biphosphate, okay, the next step is hydrolysis. What is the meaning of hydrolysis? Hydrolysis means breakdown, lysis, right? Okay. So it will be broken simply into two parts, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3 carbon in each side. So this is triose phosphate. Okay. And 2 triose phosphate will be given, and we can give it simple TP. You understand? So once activation reaction happen, okay, triose phosphate will be formed due to the hydrolysis of the fructose biphosphate into 2 triose. Is it clear?
Doctor, can you repeat again?
Again, now we had agreement that glucose is a stable molecule, will not start the reaction easily in the cytoplasm. Is it clear? So we need to give activation energy. The energy in our body found in the energy currency, which is the ATP, right? That ATP, if it will be hydrolyzed, it releases energy, right? So the cell have to use 2 ATP molecule to activate the glucose by adding phosphate group to the glucose molecule. Is it clear? The glucose will be bonded to the 2 phosphate group taken from 2 ATP, and it will be converted into another isomer, which is fructose molecule. You got it? Is it clear? Fructose biphosphate, it's reactive, easily to be broken down. So immediately it will be broken down inside the cell into 2 triose. You know what is triose? Triose, it's sugar, 3 carbon sugar, okay? That's why we give the prefix tri, and we give the suffix "ose" because "ose" means sugar. If you go to the naming of any sugar molecule, we have to add at the end "ose", like the glucose, fructose, sucrose, pentose, maltose, right or no? Okay. So if I would like to give name of a sugar which has 3 carbon, it will be triose, like hexose. Okay, you got it? Okay, so that fructose, it's hexose because it's a 6 carbon sugar bonded to 2 phosphate. So divide this 6 carbon into 2. It will give me 2 molecules. Each one has 3 carbons. That's why it's called triose phosphate. You got it now? Okay.
Okay.
Is it clear? Okay. Is it fine now? Shall I go to the next part?
Yes.
Okay. Fine. Now what do I have? I have triose, which is sugar, have 3 carbon, okay, bonded to phosphate group. Is it clear? Okay. What is the next reaction? The next reaction here, that triose will be oxidized. That triose will be oxidized. So here there is oxidation reaction. Okay. Here there is oxidation reaction. Okay. Type. Okay. I just give you the definition of oxidation reaction in organic or biochemistry, and we will go with that one, which is loss of hydrogen. Agree with me or not? Tamam? So that molecule to be oxidized, it's supposed to lose hydrogen. Agree with me or not? Hmm? Okay? طيب, loss of hydrogen inside living cells will be easy. يعني it will be lost by itself? No. It needs enzyme. Okay? So this reaction needs enzyme called dehydrogen. D means removal. Hydrogen, removal of hydrogen. And because it is an enzyme, so we'll add suffix ase. So here, removal of hydrogen molecule using dehydrogenase enzyme. Is it hard? طيب. Dehydrogenase enzyme will remove the hydrogen from the sugar, which is triose phosphate. But that hydrogen will be removed, it must be accepted, because if there is one will lose hydrogen, the other must gain. Who will gain the hydrogen? There must be another molecule which help that dehydrogenase enzyme to act by accepting the hydrogen which will be removed from the triose. Okay, this is called hydrogen carrier, which is called NAD. We will learn about this abbreviation later, but I would like you to know that it's called NAD. What is NAD? It's a hydrogen carrier which work with the dehydrogenase enzyme. That's why we call it coenzyme. يعني cooperative, working with the enzyme. So that NAD will receive or accept the hydrogen, and it will be changed to be NADH, or better to call it red used NAD because it gained the hydrogen. Is it clear? Okay. Again, let's summarize what's going on up till now in that reaction. First, glucose will enter the cell will uptake the glucose, and now we are in the cytoplasm, right? The cytoplasm, to react the process of respiration, we have to give activation energy, and the molecules which give energy inside our bodies are ATP. So 2 ATP will be used, okay, and their hydrolysis will give activation energy to the glucose to be converted into fructose biphosphate. What is the difference between fructose biphosphate and the glucose? This one carry 2-phosphate group, which has potential energy, so it's ready to react. Okay, and once this fructose biphosphate is formed, it will be broken down into 2 sugars, 2 smaller sugar molecule called triose. It was hexose, now it's changed to be triose. Each sugar has 3 carbon only. Yani it's broken from the middle, you can say. This one triose, and this is the other triose. Okay, this triose now can be oxidized by the cells in the cytoplasm, and still can be oxidized. Oxidation means loss of hydrogen. Okay, to lose hydrogen, we need dehydrogenase enzyme. That dehydrogenase enzyme remove hydrogen from the triose type. That hydrogen have to be accepted by hydrogen carrier, which is called NAD. So NAD will accept the hydrogen, and it will be called reduced NAD. Okay, up till now we are okay. You have any doubt about that? Mariam, Noor, Ryan, shall I go? Shall I continue? You understood this step? Okay. طيب, what will be the product of that oxidation? What will be the product of that oxidation? Okay. First, any redox reaction releases energy. It's an exothermic reaction. It's well known for anyone who's taking chemistry. Any redox reaction is exothermic, so this reaction will release energy. Will release energy in the form of what? Light? Heat? No. It releases energy in the form of the same energy currency, ATP. So ATP will be released again? Yes, ATP will be released one more time. Okay? But how many ATP will be released that time? 4 ADP will be converted into 4 ATP. So at the beginning, we made 2 ATP, right? But now we are gaining 4 ATP. So the net gain is what? 2 ATP will be gained by this reaction. This triose will be converted into what? Will be converted into another molecule which is called pyruvate. Which is called what? Pyruvate. All that reaction is taking place in the cytoplasm. Okay? And the name of that reaction is glycolysis. The name of that reaction is what? Glyco, come from the word glucose. Lysis or glycolysis means breakdown. So the glucose, once it enters the cell and in the cytoplasm, it will be broken down into two pyruvate. One glucose molecule will be broken down into two pyruvate. Three main steps take place in that reaction. First, activation of glucose. Then hydrolysis, breaking down of the hexose into two triose. Last one is oxidation by removing of hydrogen. Okay, by the way, this step needs to net to give to reduced net. You have a doubt about that part? Is it clear for all of you? Okay, Mariam, Noor, Ryan, Noor-Din, you understand? Okay, type. This is the biochemical scheme of the process of glycolysis, which is the first step of respiration, right? Okay. Shall we write these steps together? Okay, to know how to write it. Okay. Okay, so let's see, look at that question, describes the process of glycolysis, and this question carries 4 marks. If I would like to write the process of glycolysis, how can I do it? Yes, here I am. You will take it later at school. After the part of population, directly they will go to the biochemistry. Okay? Now you are at which part of school? You are at which part of the unit at your school? Okay. This is A level. Right. Before going to the notes, let's look at the video together, okay, which will make it easier for you. Let me share the video with you, okay?
Steps called glycolysis. The energy released during these oxidation reactions is used to form adenosine triphosphate, ATP, the energy currency of the cell. The initial steps in glycolysis are the additions of two phosphates to the glucose molecule at the expense of two molecules of ATP. The result is a 6-carbon sugar diphosphate molecule and two low-energy adenosine diphosphate molecules, or ADP. This 6-carbon sugar diphosphate molecule is then split into two 3-carbon molecules. Each of the 3-carbon molecules is converted through a series of steps to pyruvate. During these reactions, electrons are transferred to the coenzyme NAD+ to form NADH, and ATP is formed. Under aerobic conditions, the pyruvate is further oxidized to yield more ATP, and under anaerobic conditions, the pyruvate is converted into lactic acid.
Is it okay? I think this summarizes what is going on in the reaction in a simpler way. You got it now? Okay. Is it clear for all of you? Tamam? Shall we write the steps of the glycolysis together? Anyone of you would like to explain the biochemical scheme of that step? Okay, I would like to be sure that all of you got it. Who can explain it? Whatever you understood, share it with us. Who can do it? Mariam, can you do it? Yeah, Mariam?
Right.
Okay, Noor, I will send you. Okay, let me finish, then I will give you the details. Okay? Yes, Mariam?
The first thing is we need to activate glucose so it can react more easily.
Yes.
What we do is ATP are converted to ADP, so the glucose now is glucose phosphate.
Yes.
And then this glucose phosphate is turned into fructose biphosphate. So then we need to split the fructose biphosphate by hydrolysis to
Yes.
2-triose phosphate.
Yeah.
And the 2-triose phosphate is then oxidized.
Yes.
So it loses hydrogen and the 2 NAD
Will be
gain those
reduced.
hydrogens.
Yeah.
So yeah, they'll be reduced to reduced NAD, and this will release 4 ATPs and 2 pyruvates.
Excellent. Excellent. So if I would like to summarize this first part of the respiration of glucose, which is glycolysis, number one, we will say activation, right? Okay, of glucose by process called phosphorylation. Why it's called phosphorylation? Because one phosphate group is hydrolyzed from the ATP and gained by the glucose. So here energy is given by hydrolysis of 2 ATP, right? 2 ADP to provide energy for the glucose. Okay, this reaction also needs enzymes, right? Which is ATPase enzyme to make that hydrolysis. Okay, so energy is given by hydrolysis of the ATP into 2 ADP, and we use the 2 molecule. Is it clear? Right? Okay. Why it's called phosphorylation? Because there is addition of 2 phosphate group to the glucose molecule. Okay, let me make it clear for you as well. Okay, phosphorylation means addition of okay phosphate group. So here activation of glucose by phosphorylation, and we did 2 phosphorylation. Okay, and here the energy will be given by the hydrolysis of ATP into ADP. Is it clear? So this is the first step. Next step, as you said, ya Mariam, is splitting of the phosphorylated glucose. It's split into 2 equal parts. It has 6 carbon. If it's split it into 2 equal parts, it will give me 2 3-carbon sugar, which is called triose phosphate. Okay, then the last point, which is oxidation of the triose phosphate. Okay, in that oxidation, hydrogen is removed because we gave already the definition of oxidation as loss of hydrogen. So hydrogen is removed. Okay, of each one of the triose. يعني each triose will lose 1 hydrogen. That's why 2 NAD, okay, will be reduced and give me 2 NADH. You understand? And here there is enzyme called dehydrogenase enzyme to make this process, because this reaction are controlled by enzymes. You got my point? Okay. Type. So oxidation, it is exothermic reaction. Energy will be lost in this step, right? That's why 4 ATP will be formed as well. So now here we paid 2 ATP. Now we are gaining 4 ATP. So we paid some energy at the beginning, but at the end we gained more. So the net production of energy here is 2 ATP molecule. If I would like to summarize the reaction of glycolysis, right? We can, one more simplified reaction, okay? And let us write the net equation of this one as well. Okay, this another diagram to simplify the glycolysis, right? Similar to the video that we watched now. Is it clear? Okay. So if this question came, and already this is from the past paper, describes the process of glycolysis for 4 marks. So I have to mention 4 points because it's 4 marks, right? First point, we will talk about the activation. Okay. We'll talk about the activation, then splitting, then oxidation of triose, then the net gain of energy, which is 2 ATP. You understand? Okay. Okay. If I would like to summarize the equation of this reaction, still it is an equation, right? It is a chemical change. So here I will write, okay, glucose plus what? What we added to the glucose to make the glycolysis. We wanted at the beginning or need to add 2 ATP, okay? Then there was 2 NAD, okay, in the step of oxidation, right? Okay, then what was the product? The glucose hydrolyzed and broken down to form 2 pyruvate, okay, and plus 4 ATP plus 2 reduced, 2 reduced NAD. Is it clear? Right? So this is the overall equation. This will be cancelled and this will be 2. Let me rewrite it one more time. So glucose needs, so that's the glycolysis with 2 NAD will give 2 pyruvate plus 2 ATP plus 2 NAD. Is it fine? Okay. So this is the glycolysis which takes place immediately when the glucose enter the cytoplasm. And this is called glycolytic pathway. The reaction called glycolysis, and this is called glycolytic pathway, which happen in the cytoplasm, right? This is called this is called glycolytic pathway, okay? Because it is the pathway of glycolysis. Always glycolysis mean breakdown, right? What I would like to ask you a question now. There are 2 ATP molecules formed. Does this reaction need oxygen? No. Oxygen not involved in the glycolysis, right? Only oxidation happen by removal of hydrogen. We did not add oxygen. You got my point? There is energy released, yes, but only 2 ATP. I would like to tell you if I complete the respiration of glucose, I should gain 38 ATP molecule. And still, a lot of energy is trapped in that pyruvate. And up till now, I did not mention the mitochondria. So this pyruvate, if there is oxygen, it will enter the mitochondria. And here, the aerobic respiration will be completed. If there is no oxygen, okay, it will stay in the cytoplasm, and there is simple pathway to do anaerobic respiration. And this explains why when we were in IGCSE, they used to tell us only aerobic respiration takes place in the mitochondria. If there is anaerobic, it will be in the cytoplasm. And this explains why aerobic respiration gives that much of energy, but anaerobic respiration gives less. Because anaerobic respiration will not give more than that 2 ATP. But aerobic respiration, if it will be completed in the presence of oxygen inside the mitochondria, it will go to be 38 ATP molecule. You understand that part? Is it clear? You have any doubt regarding that part? Okay. Noor, you got it, ya Noor? Huh?
Yes, miss.
طيب. Okay. So this is about the glycolysis, right? Okay. There is يعني simple questions related to that part because we don't have that much يعني finished we did not finish large part يعني mm, a lot of things in respiration only glycolysis. So the questions will come, maybe ask what is glycolysis like here, maybe ask to write the net equation of glycolysis like here, or simple MCQ questions, okay? Or they ask you how activation of glucose could happen, right? Some MCQ question, let me share some with you now, okay? You can see the questions still loading. So who can answer that one? In glycolysis, glucose is converted to what? Carbon dioxide, pyruvate, citrate, acetyl-CoA, or NAD, or ADP? Who can answer that question? You can answer, write the answer in the chat. What was the end product in the glycolysis? This glycolysis, which end by, yes, pyruvate, correct, pyruvate. Okay, so the answer here will be pyruvate. Okay, طيب. The net result of a single glycolysis run in the formation of, what is the net result? What is the net product of the process of glycolysis? We said 3 products will be formed. Okay, pyruvate, ATP, and reduced NAD. Okay, so how many NAD, reduced NAD, how many ATP will be formed? Huh? Could you write the answer in the chat or say it? Ryan said B. Okay. Mariam also said B. Okay. Abdurrahman also said B. So all of you are correct because reduced NAD and ATP, both of them, 2 molecules will be formed, one for each one of the trios. Next one, under anaerobic condition, the end product of glycolysis. You understand why they said anaerobic? Because I told you glucose not involved in that glycolytic pathway at all. No glucose is used. When I want to give energy, I use the ATP. When energy is released, it's released in the form of ATP. When I wanted to do oxidation, I only removed the hydrogen by reducing NAD into reduced NAD. That's it. So this is called anaerobic respiration, sorry, anaerobic condition, right? So what is the end product? Huh? It's amino acid, carbon dioxide and water, lactic acid, hydrochloric acid, acetic acid. If I will complete to do anaerobic respiration, it will go to lactic acid, correct? You got my point? Or ethanol and carbon dioxide if it will be in yeast. You have any doubt about that part? Okay. تمام. During glycolysis, 6 carbon sugar phosphate molecule is split into 2 3 carbon sugar phosphate. Is it true or false? Huh? True or false? Glycolysis, 6 carbon sugar diphosphate molecule is split into 2 carbon sugar phosphate molecule. Yes or no? Huh? Mariam said true. Yes, it's true, correct. Under aerobic conditions, the end product of glycolysis is further reduced to yield more ATP. Yes or no? Under aerobic. Yeah, pyruvate will enter the mitochondria and it will be oxidized more and more to give more ATP, and we learn about that later in the next session. Okay, I hope you understood everything. You would like to revise any part or it's fine up till now? Is it okay for all of you? Okay, anyone has any doubt? Next session we will complete what will happen in the mitochondria. Okay, okay, see you next session inshallah. Bye.